The Certainty Principle by David Light, Chapter 9, which is Outcome. O is for Outcome. This is sections 2 and 3, which are kind of short and politically incorrect, but I've included them anyway. It's about identity and outcome are really tightly related. There's a tendency, they're collateral. If you're enthralled with your identity, you tend to be enthralled with outcomes, and vice versa. If you tend to be relatively identity free, you have a tendency to be rather outcome independent. So these two topics kind of meld in this chapter, but particularly in these 2 or 3 sections coming up. 9.2, Identity Politics and Propaganda. Politicization of identity is the central purpose of the propaganda of many political movements. Hillary Clinton's "I'm with her, therefore I'm special" campaign slogan leveraged individual identity addiction, the hapless desire to seek personal meaning in powerful external associations. When the outcome is, as it always is, disappointing, the results can be devastating, even to denial of reality, or worse. Religious teachings are filled with gruesome stories about the consequences of vanity politics, politics in general, not the least of which is the story of Jesus. He constantly taught the dangers of self-righteousness. Now, self-righteousness is a form of vanity. It's a form of outcome-dependent vanity, where the way things happen to turn out or not, we react emotionally to. There's no upside to that, by the way. Quote, "All who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted," unquote. It's the King James Bible, 1611. Still, his followers, Jesus' followers, mainly turned on him in the frenzy of the Roman prosecution. The governor Pontius Pilate surrendered the fate of Jesus to the crowd of followers. But it was the righteousness of the crowd that crucified him. After failing to lead them to victory, the humiliating loss in World War II of face drove the Italian people to turn on their leader, Benito Mussolini, executing him in the streets. They kicked and spat on his body before finally hanging it upside down and stoning it. Kind of gives you a glimpse of what happens when your Messiah falls. 9.3, Identity Marketing. So all marketing is identity. I mean, everything you purchase is emotionally driven. Those emotions are driven highly by the outcome dependence that comes with incredible identity reliance. And in fact, you could say in the 21st century, like, we are literally a herd dictated by the marketing efforts of the world. And that's becoming more and more intensified, by the way. There's greater and greater demand for our attention. Peter Thiel said, "Attention is the currency of the 21st century." Absolutely accurate. Yeah, so don't pay attention, at least to marketing. Media marketing that leverages my identity's powerful attachments is predictably effective, no matter how outrageous the messaging is, no matter what outcomes it promises. My disappointment that attractive women do not flock to my table when I'm drinking Dos Equis beer does little to stem the appeal of their ad campaign of the most interesting man in the world, advertising to my identity. Who knows? Maybe I just had an off night. Truth is, I've deferred my beer preference to marketing. Who cares what it tastes like? Product quality is secondary when my identity is the real product, and that's something to keep in mind. Not always, but often the case. It's really what we identify with that we buy, or the outcome that product marketing promises that we buy. And that, again, is identity reliant. So when I choose to buy a product, what am I really buying?